Welcome back to Real Estate Savvy here on Northwest Digital News. I'm Kevin Hunter with Susan Wood, and we're going to have a little conversation for all the newbies out there thinking about maybe getting a start in real estate. You've actually done a few different stints in real estate, but how many years have you been associated with the real estate business?
Over 25.
Over 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, you get to learn from one of the pros in the business. And I have to confess up front that I hope you're going to take really good notes, and I hope you're going to brace yourself for how much this actually costs, because this is like off the charts.
It's rather expensive.
Yes, it's very expensive. So let's start with what somebody has to do first. So if you're thinking about becoming a real estate agent, the first thing you have to do is take a course. What's that about?
Well, first thing you want to do is really educate yourself on what it takes to be an agent and what's expected of you. So yes, we all have to have courses, so you have to get licensed, and it's about $700, and I want to say it's 120 hours of education. So with that comes about 90 tests, and then you also have your license test, and then you have to take your state test. And so that is $132. So you have your $700 in classes, $132 for licensing, and then every time you fail it, because some people do, it's another $132.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's also some things you're going to have to join, and one of them people commonly understand is MLS, but there's also another group that they have to join too, and this is any local realtors group, correct?
It is. It's an association of realtors, and so it's what we call National Association of Realtors, and that's why you always see the little R underneath our names, and that is also $700 a year. So you have to pay it the first year, and you have to pay it the second year, and sadly enough, it's year to year, so it's January to January. So if you become licensed in December and you're paying $700, you're also paying $700 in January.
Ah.
Yeah, so it's not year to year as in license year, it's year to year. And sadly enough, a lot of people don't understand that. So if it is something you're considering doing, getting your license in January.
Don't start on December 1st.
Do not start on December 1st, right.
All right.
Yeah.
And then what about MLS?
So your MLS is also mandatory. It's where we put you into the database, your home in the database. It's where we can search through everybody else's listings, and it's about $200 a month. And then we have what we call a key that allows us to get into the homes, and that's pretty cheap. It's 15 bucks a month, but still, I mean, everything adds up. And then our lock boxes, they run you $132 per lockbox that you have. So your signage is approximately $100, and then your business cards, can run you 50 bucks to $100, depending on what kind of cards you want. That's all up to you to do. Any type of marketing is yours to do. So yeah.
Let me ask you really quickly. This is a little bit off topic, but when you talk about the lock boxes, are those lock boxes only accessible by that agent who has the house listed, or who actually can get into that lock box?
The agent that has a house listed is the only one that can take the lockbox off, because we have special codes for our lockboxes. Unless I gave you the lockbox code and you were an agent, you could take it off for me. But the only people that can access those lockboxes are agents. So, and that's where that $15 fee comes in. And so it's on our phones, and then that phone is Bluetoothed into that lockbox. And it tells the agent who's been in their home, how long they got in their home for, what time they left, what time they arrived. It tells them everything, basically, except for having a nanny cam on them.
Interesting. Okay, so then we've talked about the real estate courses they'll have to take, the MLS memberships, the Realtor Association memberships.
Yes.
Now we're going to get inside the business a little bit. There is some desk fees that.
There is. So whatever agency you decide to join has variants of desk fees, but they all pretty much straight across run around $200 to $250. So per month. So that includes nothing. That's just you having an office there.
You can put your foot inside the door, and you got an office there.
And a lot of people think, well, fine, I'll just work from home. It actually is just a place to hang your license, so it's a hanging license fee, we'll call it. They call it a desk fee, but really it's a hanging license fee.
You don't have to be there. You're still going to pay the money.
You still pay it. You save no money. And where I work, certain offices charge for having an office, but where I work, it's all encumbersome. But you have to be of a top seller in order to have an office. So you have to sell a certain amount of product in order to have your own office. Other than that, you have a little cubicle.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
which works.
Let's talk about insurances.
Okay, so you have E&O insurance, which is errors and omissions. It's mandatory. And that runs you about $50 a month. Your company will charge you for that. And then...
is this a liability insurance of sorts?
It is.
Basically.
Yeah, errors and omissions. So if I tell you something that's I shouldn't be telling you, it protects me in a sense. Well, pays for my legal fees. But if I really did, in fact, say that, trust you me, the errors and omissions is not going to back you. They're going to tell you, hey, get your own attorney. So everything we do is documented. That's why if you've ever worked with us, you'll see us text a lot, email a ton. So we have everything documented, and there's a reason for it. Because I may tell you a ton of things, and you're only going to retain a very small portion of it. Because it's not something you know. And typically you'll retain only things that you want to hear.
Let's talk about other expenses associated with the office. So
Sure.
Things like, you know, the common tools that you'd have in an office, from your fax to your phone to copiers to you name it. You're paying somebody for all of that too.
Yeah, about another $50 a month. Whether you use it or don't use it, you're still paying for it. So you'll still be
So
charged
even
it.
if you're at your home office, you're still paying somebody
Yeah.
those other associated
Right.
fees.
Because the office fee is also a place where the gals who answer the phone, or maybe the gentleman who answers the phone, that $200, $250 pays for them as well. So it also pays for the overhead of the building and the lights and everything. So it's not like you're just being charged endless amounts of money. It goes towards something. So, you know, a lot of people believe just because they're working from their office and they have a place to hang their license that they're going to omit those charges, and they really will not.
So now we haven't even talked about being found as an agent yet, have we?
No, not even.
So there's some basic marketing things that they're going to want to consider, from cards to mailers to, I know in your case, like, you even have billboards up, but we won't get into that kind of expense because it's for somebody who's a little bit more advanced. But let's talk about some of the basic things they're going to want to do as far as the marketing side goes.
Well, as we all know, you can go on Vistaprint for $10, get 500 cards. So that's a cheap way of doing it. But really, for me, I say if you're going to brand yourself, you want to stand out. So you don't want your basic cards. You want something that is unique. Obviously, $10 cards, that's pretty cheap. They always tell you when you get into the business, one thing you want to do is send out a mailer. Tell all your people that you know that you're brand new in the business. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yep.
That is a huge mistake, because you're not going to want to trust one person that's brand new in the business and they're so excited with your most expensive, you know, investment. Would you? I want it. So I would never tell somebody I was brand new in the business.
Let me practice on you.
Yeah, you can be my first. No, don't do that. So don't listen to people that say to do that. That's a horrible mistake. You wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it. And so you better have knowledge on what you know as far as real estate goes, and practice on people you do know, but not by selling their homes and telling them that. Talk to your other agents and go on listing appointments with them and buyer's appointments with them. See what they do, and then talk to the people. So at least you have some knowledge underneath your belt. But again, that's a whole nother subject. So yeah, there is a ton of expense that goes in just to marketing yourself. But the best thing you can do, or the cheapest thing that I found, is put it on your car. Put a magnet on your car. It also allows a little bit of a write-off, but put that magnet on your car because people will stop and talk to you. Yeah.
Now, there are some expenses with the vehicle when you mentioned about putting it on your car.
Yeah.
You're pretty much on your own with this, aren't you?
You are.
So all the things from vehicle insurance, car payments, gas expenses, all that kind of stuff, it's all on you.
It is all on you. And one thing people don't understand is you're showing them homes for free. So if the home is 50 miles away from your base, I mean, that's a lot of gas, and you're not making a dime until you get a contract signed and it closes. So all the added expenses, the coffees, the lunches, the breakfast, the whatever you're doing, just out and about, just trying to market yourself, is all on you.
So in this first year, and we'll get into in a moment and what somebody might expect in terms of when the sales actually start rolling in, but in this first year, Without a dime coming in, what can somebody expect to shell out in year one?
Minimum
Minimum.
$6,800.
Wow.
Well, and then which we didn't ever talk
That's
about.
an expensive habit that you're not making any money with yet.
Amen. So it is good to have a slush fund because you typically will not make a sale within 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have all those expenses going out monthly, no matter what, and you haven't made a dime. So you start out definitely in the red, as we say, and it takes you a while to get into the black.
Okay, so now let's say this 6 months comes along or whenever it is and they get their first sale and they're feeling all happy about this because now I have a commission that's, let's just say it's 10,000 bucks. I mean, I'm just using a round number. Let's just say the commission that's to be paid out on this home is 10,000 bucks.
Right.
You don't get to have all that.
No.
It gets split a few different ways, so where does it go?
So let's just say the commission, just your side, is 10,000. We're not talking about the other side, the other agent's commission, just yours. So you're splitting 50% of that with your brokerage. So there's 5,000. You pay 2.5% to B&O, comes right off the top. So what is that?
Another nice little chunk of money.
About $1,000, $1,100. We'll say 1,000 for easy math. $4,000, and then you have 32% in self-employment tax. So there's another, $1,500. So all of a sudden you're down to a whopping $2,500.
Right.
So now you have to look at
after starting with 10 grand.
After starting with 10 grand.
Right.
So then you look at it's 6 weeks to close a deal, roughly, and that's a lot of time. There's a ton of time, hours that you put into phone calls, running around, doing various things. That doesn't include all the time that you spent showing them homes or trying to get their home listed, whomever you're working for. So there's a ton of variables that go in there. So when you really break it down, when all is said and done, of $10,000, you're roughly going to pocket $1,200 in 6 weeks.
That is crazy.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and that does not include your overhead, your desk fees, your low car fees, your MLS fees. It doesn't include any of that. So then if you take all that off the top, it's pennies to dollars.
So now we've painted a pretty grim picture here of year one in your business. Now there's things that they'll have to take into consideration as far as education.
Yes.
Years 2, 3, beyond. What do they have to think about education-wise?
So your second year in the business, you have another 90 hours you have to put in. And so that's about 300. And then every year thereafter, you have to put another 30 hours in, which is another 300. And so there's a constant education. And then you want to be maybe an accredited buyer's person, and that's another 150. So every class you take costs you money. But all of that is accreditation to help build you, to help give you education to be a better agent and have that education that you need to do your business well. So there's a lot of time.
So we've laid out kind of a roadmap that has a lot of pitfalls in it and very expensive steps that they'll have to make to come about to being a realtor. I think about in business as usual, and this really is when you're signing up to become a realtor, you are in business for yourself.
Absolutely.
It's you. And I think about the statistics of the million-plus people who start a business venture every year. 40% are gone in year one, 80% gone by 5 years, 96% gone by year 10, and of the 4 remaining, 1 files bankruptcy, 1 breaks even, 1 makes a little bit of money but needs to get a different job, and the other lives the American dream. Having painted that gloomy picture, how many, if 100 new real estate agents started in the real estate business today, how many actually survive?
Probably 3.
Probably 3.
Probably 3. So every 7 sales you do, you're putting 1 agent out of business. And most agents do, I don't know why it is, but most agents have a second job and they're all bus drivers. I don't know. That seems to be the thing. But that seems to be where most people go, is becoming a bus driver.
Maybe driving around these neighborhoods, they go, hey, there's another house for sale. There's another house for sale.
Hey, why don't I talk to them?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Be able to keep track of your inventory.
Makes it easy.
Yes.
But what I find, at least for me, is how I look at it is, if you don't give something 100%, and if you can't make it work in the first year, you definitely need to get out. So when the market starts to kind of, as we saw, slow down, lull, crash slightly, that's when all the new people or the people that can't make it in business, they all tend to be weeded out. And I mean, that's sad to say, but the truth be told, that's how it is. I know in my office alone, we've had 8 new agents. We've lost 4, or the 4th one's headed out the door right now. So it's kind of sad because they're great people, and I think that they would do very well. But unfortunately, unless you've got some type of financial nest egg, it's a hard business.
Well, as you can see, everyone, it is a tough road ahead getting started in the real estate business. So hopefully this information was helpful to you. And if you're thinking about making a career choice in real estate, hopefully you got some deep pockets. You got a little nest egg that's out there. It's not something for the faint of heart to think about stepping into.
No.
Kevin Hunter with Susan Wood here on Real Estate Savvy. Thanks everyone who joined us on the broadcast. Till next time, take care.
Thank you.
This concludes today's live programming on Northwest Digital News. Thanks for joining us for this special broadcast. Heard around the world in more than 70 countries on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, Facebook, and Twitch TV. If you enjoyed a story or guest we had here on Northwest Digital News and would like to strut your stuff on the broadcast, email us today at wainfo2017@gmail.com or call or text 360-545-3501. We're always interested in unique stories, topics, and guests to share with our worldwide audience. Before you go, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and comment on the live stream. And for those of you who'd like to financially support the broadcast, you can do so at patreon.com/Northwest Digital News. We thank you for your patronage. On behalf of Chris Bornstead, Kyle Torgerson, Stephanie Hunter, and all the people that made this broadcast possible, I'm Kevin Hunter. Till next time, take care.